ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week for 4 Men in a Box, 3 today. Quentin Mills on assignment. Q, have a great weekend. Go Gators, go, as they are one step away from the Final Four. Should be a good game next tomorrow, and we'll talk about that, of course. Shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play. Download that app. It is free. Travis, Guy, Zach, myself, Amber, Holly, Carol, Bucks, Matt. The list is endless. Jump on board. You'll have some great time with that. Viva Tequila Seltzer, 6 flavors in all. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconut. And Atlanta Steaks and Seafood. Head on over to Facebook. Introduce yourself to Terry Smith. Jump on over to atlantasteaksandseafood.com. Steaks, chops, seafood, appetizers, wines. Terry's the best in the business. Use an order this weekend of over $199, a free 2-pound bag, a 2-pound bag of Devane shrimp cocktail, surf and turf, however you want to do it, shrimp scampi, on Terry Smith. So any questions, comments, concerns, ask Terry on Facebook. So without further ado, let's bring him in. Mr. Matt Grissom and Mr. Nick Hatgoat. What's up, boys?
Good afternoon, Jeffrey.
How's it going, Jeff?
Well, I told you the backstory backstage. I'll tell everyone watching and listening. Was watching the games last night. The first games are done. The second games are in halftime. I felt very comfortable. The Arkansas Razorbacks took a punch right before the half, but they bounced back strong, and Duke was being Duke. And so I fell asleep. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and I checked my phone, and I almost fell out of bed when I saw the Arkansas Razorbacks lost in overtime. So, Mr. Grissom, I know it's a tough day today. Take us through the highs and obviously the lows of that.
Well, I mean, hogs are going to hog, right? It's kind of an MO for the Razorbacks, and I think Jack Mack said it best with Barstool Sports. He said, I think the CIA has used Razorback fans as some type of test to see how much pain a fan base can endure for something that they love. And it's true. I mean, it is a program that is riddled with heartbreak. Even when they're doing good, you just kind of wait. We were all looking around at each other and thinking, all right, how are we going to screw this up? And we did. I mean, it's kind of unfair because if you look back, we started 0-5 in SEC play. We thought, all right, this team may not even make the tournament. We get in as the 10 seed. We handle Kansas. We shockingly beat the 2 seed in St. John's. And, you start building some momentum and you think, all right, maybe this team could do it. And I think that's what happened. They got a 15, 16-point lead. they're kind of all looking around. It's a bunch of young guys, and they thought, all right, it looks like we're going to play Florida, and just didn't happen. They let Texas Tech get back in. Hats off to Ryan Hyatt and his boys. They came ready to play, but it's just life of being a Razorback fan. It may not even be in the top 5 Razorback moments, though. So I guess you can find solace in that.
Well, you talked about it. We've done shows around the clock here, and the hiring was great. I talk about the press conference, the first one. He gets a piece of paper and he goes, "Where's my roster?" He didn't have a guy on the roster. So he puts a team together. You struggled. You started 0-5 in the SEC. Word around the street was, as Cal lost it, was that this not the right hire. You catch lightning in the bottle. You beat Kansas, which was hats off. I didn't think you'd beat the Johnnies, especially, in Providence, home of Rick Pitino here. And then you got to sit around for 4 days and get ready for last night. Played an amazing first half. You 7 3-pointers in the first half alone. You took their good shot in the second half. You still had that double-digit lead. I think it was a great run, as you said backstage, but overall, I think you gotta be thankful and grateful for the run, and looking into next year, you got to be saying the cupboard's more not half bare, but we're cooking with Crisco here.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things good moving forward. I think if Carter Knox comes back, that's going to be a really good staple. He kind of went off last night, but he's still a true freshman. And then Calipari is getting raked over the coals for not calling a timeout. He's not a call a timeout there in the last few seconds. It's let them play, trust your guys to get a shot. Wagner, I don't really know what he was doing. I think the ball should have been in Nelly's hands. But at the end of the day, I mean, you have to live with it. And I think it's nothing but good for us moving forward. I mean, we've got the number 1 point guard in the country coming in. We just got another transfer guy from overseas that I think is going to help down low. So we're hopeful. I don't think Cal has lost it. I think he really did a great job this year coaching this team.
Nick, let's dive right into the midweek Tennessee Vols before we get into the Friday Night Lights and your matchup, I think, on the road this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But what'd you see during the midweek?
Yeah, business as usual. They had Queens this week, not Queens, New York. I believe Queens was it Matt out of Virginia or North Carolina? It was a D2 school that just moved up to D1. So it was one of those like, hey, let's get get all the arms out there, have some, like, the starters I think played 4 or 5 innings, and then kind of handed it off to just get some guys at bats. But yeah, head on the road this weekend or at South Carolina. So it's back-to-back weekends on the road. But I was really impressed with what I saw last weekend. Like, to go to Alabama, who I know they got moved down in the rankings for losing a series. I'm not convinced it's not a top 10 team in the country. I'm very high on Bama, and everybody's going to talk about their offense. But Zane Adams and Riley Quick, on their starting pitchers on Fridays and Saturdays, have the ability to beat anybody in the country. So it's one of those where it's like, hey, let's on the road back to back. It's like, are you tired? Or like let's see what team shows up, because they got beat last Thursday, which I think will be an awakening for. It's like, hey, first game on the road, like, let's not drop game one and have to kind of rebound and win the next 2 games to win the series. So I really like them tonight. I'm also down on South Carolina. I know a lot of people, like, I don't know if it's the coaching hire. It's just like non-talent on the roster outside of Ethan Petrie. Something's going on there. They're like probably the 14th, somewhere around like 14, 15, 16 in the SEC this year. So Tennessee should take care of business. It should be a sweep, even though it is hard to sweep on the road. But Tennessee is just flat out the better team, even without Gavin Keelan, who I don't think is back at full health this weekend.
Well, Matt, you drowned your sorrows last night, but I don't. You tell me what the hell happened to the Hogs midweek.
I don't know. I still don't think they know, to take a page out of Calipari's book. He said he's not even going to watch the film against Tennessee. He didn't watch the film against South Carolina. He said, that's not my team. And I think Dave Van Horn can do the same thing. I mean, that wasn't the Razorback pitching staff that we know. Colin Fisher, who had been really, really good in the midweek, he had a sub-2 Sierra going into that game. And then you follow it up with Ben Bobby, who's been another midweek starter for the Razorbacks. Neither of them had it. And then you go to old Trusty and Will McIntyre there in the ninth, and he didn't have it. So it's just bad pitching. But like Dave said, you sometimes have to lose one to win a series, and they could take a page out of Vitello's book. They lose to East Tennessee. They come out, have a really good competitive series, and win that one. So I think they're fine. Obviously, you want to win every game, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't be that much importance to that you've lost a game. The bats were still swinging well, and I still think the team is super talented, but they weren't going to throw a guy that was going to throw this weekend out there just to try to beat Missouri State. Like that wasn't in the cards for them. So looking forward to this series, and we'll see how they go. Vanderbilt's a really good pitching team. I think they're number 2 or 3 in the country in team XFIP and Sierra. So going to be a good test for our bats, but I feel a lot more confident with this rotation on the mound. Gage Wood still out, but getting close to coming back.
Well, it makes it hard here. The sports books, I'm on Wager Talk right now. I usually have at least a half dozen games to bring up with some spreads. I don't know if it's because of the start of baseball. I don't know if it's because of the Sweet 16. No numbers up in front of me, but thank God for you guys and your website. You have some numbers that have been projected. So I'm going to start with you, Matt. As you said, your Razorbacks traveled to Vanderbilt. Give us some insight on that and what your numbers are saying for the weekend.
Yeah, oddly enough, DraftKings just posted one line, and it's your UConn Huskies minus 160 over Xavier.
No way.
I'm going to touch that one. But here at Oaklawn, who copies lines from Bet Rivers, it looks like we've got a few lines out. Florida State minus 200 over Notre Dame. Auburn plus 200 versus Georgia minus 275. Louisville minus 137. I think that's playable. Patrick Forbes, anytime he goes, I feel like it's an auto bet for Louisville. He's got a .60 Sierra. Love that. So I'm about to put that bet in live. But yeah, like I was saying, Vanderbilt, really good pitching team. As I sit here and pull this up, they currently rank 3rd in Team Sierra and 4th in XFIP, 2 in WHIP. I mean, this is going to be a good test for an offense who ranks 2 in the country with 176 in weighted runs created. Can the Hogs bats stay hot? They're ranked 1st in batting average over the last 7 games. I mean, this is going to be a true test for Arkansas. Are they beating up on weaker opponents, bad pitching staffs? We'll see. I think this could be I said it on our show, this could be a very Vanderbilt-ish game. Meaning it's on that turf field in Nashville. It's going to play fast, but it's going to be heavily dependent on how good the pitchers are. Can they throw strikes? Don't get guys on base. Don't walk a lot. Neither of these two teams do. So I think it should be a gritty little game, maybe 5-3 type game.
Well, go back a handful of years ago, Mr. Lighter, Mr. Rocker. Now both in, Lighter starting today for the Texas Rangers against my Red Sox, and then I think Rocker's going to get to start on Sunday or maybe Monday. So again, Vanderbilt known for pitching a few years ago. They were the team to beat. What has happened to this team moving forward? Is the SEC the cream just rose to the top, or what has been the problem with Vanderbilt the last couple of years?
I think it's back to their hitting. They just don't hit the ball. They don't hit the ball deep. It's a team that has 22 home runs. To put that in some context, I think Georgia has 74. Arkansas has 57, who couldn't hit the ball last year. So I think they play a lot of small ball, a lot of bunts, try to get on base and score runners. And I think when you face the pitching staff that these SEC teams have, they really struggle to score runs. And when you run into offenses like Arkansas, Tennessee, Georgia, Auburn, even, I mean, it's tough when you have to rely on, getting 8 runs a game to win an SEC game. I just don't. Vanderbilt's not doing it.
Nick, Tennessee travels to South Carolina. Friday Night Lights. What do you have for us for not just tonight, but obviously the weekend for your unbelievable Tennessee Vols?
Yeah, it should be. They should take care of business, like I said earlier. I think this line, whenever it comes out, it's probably going to be one of those ugly ones that ends up like unplayable. Like they'll probably end up like minus 400. Like, Matt, would you be surprised if it's like minus 400, 425?
No, our site makes them minus 600.
Yeah, it's like it's going to be one of those where it's not even really worth putting in a parlay, because like it just, at least for me, that's how I do it. Like I hate, like for college baseball, like I hardly ever will parlay more than 2 teams together, just because of it's hitting a round ball with a round bat, and you could lose to Missouri State and East Tennessee on a Tuesday. So it's like just weird things can happen in baseball. So it's like I hate playing lines that big. So it's going to be unplayable. I will say, just because I haven't played it, but like I've got just MGM just put out 13 lines. So I'll just mention them here because it's like a couple are like playable. I think Clemson. So Clemson opens up at minus 145. So they're on the road at Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech is number 1 in the ACC right now. But also you look at their schedule. They played Virginia Tech, Pitt, and Notre Dame, who are, at least Pitt and Notre Dame are probably the worst 2 teams in the ACC. So I think this number, especially with Aiden Kanak for Clemson, even being on the road, I think that is very playable at minus 145. And then a surprising one for me is Logan Lunsford in Wake at home against Virginia Tech is only minus 135. That number feels, I don't know, I don't even know what to say, way off. Like I feel like that should be like 200. I was expecting to have to parlay Wake, which we usually have to on Fridays, unless they're playing like a Clemson or Florida State. So I think that is very playable. And then just to kind of touch on one more, I think North Carolina at home against Miami is also only minus 155. And they kind of changed up their rotation last week. I'm not sure if they're going, I haven't seen it. Maybe Matt has. I don't know if they're going back to Jason DeCaro on Fridays or not. But I still think
Jake Knapp versus Nick Robert.
Okay, Jake Knapp. So Jake Knapp and then DeCaro will go tomorrow. So North Carolina is so much better than Miami, especially at North Carolina. I think that's another very playable line.
And to touch on that too, our site makes North Carolina minus 500.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's another. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe MGM was just getting a bunch of grief for not putting out lines because usually they wait until like DK and FanDuel have them out, but they're the first ones out. And I think I'm about to, as soon as we hop off the show, take advantage of some of these because I think they're about to get jumped.
Yeah, I didn't wait. I bet Louisville minus 137. I bet Wake Forest minus 143, and I bet Virginia minus 110.
Yeah,
as soon as you talk about another team, Virginia start preseason number 2. They don't get the right start that they wanted. They get Evan Blanco back. I feel like the best ball that they can play is still ahead of them. They won last night, I think 10-5 to take game 1 over Stanford. You've got Thomas Valencius going for Virginia against Christian Lim for Stanford. The website makes, I think, Virginia minus 140-ish. So I think that's still playable. I had 2 plays last night, Mississippi State plus 3.5, plus 4.5 on the run line. They cover that against LSU. They're actually leading that for most of the game until Dickinson hit, I think, a 3-run home run. Just take the lead or tie it up. But, yeah, it's – and I kind of went on a rant on our show. These games, like Boston College was a plus 500 dog, or Miami was a plus 500 dog against Florida State, who's laying like minus 1,100. Like these are conference games. The lines don't need to be that out of whack. If you can get a run line plus 3.5, 4.5 in a conference game, you take it every single time.
The book's making it real hard on you guys, and as the season progresses, as we're getting closer to Omaha, of course. I expect a little speedier service here. It's 11:36. It's almost noon back east, as you said. First pitch at 1-2 o'clock in some of these games. So, Mr. Benson at the Circa, DraftKings, FanDuel, some of you guys need to wake up here and help the boys out here as we're trying to do a show here. We're trying to provide winners and trying to help the public that want to jump in, of course, to college baseball here. As we always wrap up this segment here, Nick, tell everyone where they can find your work.
Yeah, in Hathcote 413 on X is the best place to find me. It's where I mention most of my stuff about like anything I do college baseball wise. And then obviously our Discord, which is free to join, is a great place to talk. I've been extremely busy this week and this past weekend, so I haven't been in there much. But a lot of our fans are still talking back and forth. Guy put in pitching matchups, so it's just a great resource for everybody. And then obviously all of our plays will be on Dub Club for the day. Like I just mentioned 4 right there that as soon as we're off this show that I'm going to be on. So those will all be put in there. So it's just a great resource, and it's cheaper. I know Jeff can speak to this. It's cheaper than pretty much anywhere else that you can find plays.
1,000% here. Again, we're trying to grow the sport. This is year 3 of the NCAA Insiders, and it's just gotten big and bigger. And we're just, at launch stage now. I can't imagine year 4, 5, and 6. So, Matt, where can they find everything from you?
Go check out the great work Nick Dimmitt does over at collegebaseballinsiders.com. You can look at all the projections for every single game on the board. Most of the pitchers are put in already. But you can also change them if you see that a different pitcher is starting. And then I'm at Grissom on X. And hats off to Nick. He has taken over the Insiders Twitter, going to give everybody a little bit of fun interaction during game days. So check out that. Make sure you're following along at NCAA Insiders on X.
Gentlemen, always a pleasure. Love wrapping up the week with you guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the madness. Enjoy the baseball, and we'll be back Tuesday morning. How's that?
Sounds great. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Jeff.
Thanks a lot,
All
Jeff.
right. Thank you, guys. Quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up. Stay tuned. ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
Welcome to Good Food. At Atlanta Steaks and Seafood, you'll find the highest quality meats from a variety of delicious cuts, tomahawks, salmon fillets, ribeyes, and plenty more to choose from. With an easy-to-use mobile-friendly website, selecting your pick of meat is made quick and easy. And don't forget, worrying about your dinner is a thing of the past. Check out some of the amazing subscription packages that Atlanta Steaks and Seafood has to offer. Fresh steak and seafood straight to your door. Order online at atlantasteaksandseafood.com.
There we go. Happy Friday to all. The weekend is here. ECSI VIPs 6-1 our last 7. That's some MLB where we were 2-1 yesterday. Should have been 3-0. I'm not here crying spilt milk, but if the Kansas City Royals knew how to run the bases, we would have been 3-0 there. Had a nice Maryland team total first half over. We're cooking with Crisco here. So how do you get involved with the ECSI VIPs? 2 ways. Head on over to eastcoastsportsinvestors.com, top right corner, plans and pricing. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. There's a retail price and there's an ECSI VIP. We call it a gym membership, $3 a day. That's it. All the plays sent to you via text to your cell phone and emailed. And that's all sports. That's MLB. That's March Madness. That's NHL. As we get ready for NHL and NBA playoffs, the Masters coming up in 2 weeks. Or, as Nick said, and of course, as Matt said, we too have partnered with Dub Club. So if you go to Twitter at EC Sports Invest, look at my profile. There's a link right there. Click on the link. We are offering an MLB first pitch, which was yesterday, NHL and NBA playoff package for $60 a month. That's $2 a day. If you use the promo code, which is on there, click that, you get 10% off there as well. So for $54, less than $2, $1.78 a day, you can get a month trial of the rest of March Madness as we get closer to the NHL playoffs, as we get closer to the NBA playoffs, and of course the MLB every day. All the plays sent to you for $1.78 a day. I want to give a shout out to Nick and Matt. Shout out to Quentin Mills, of course, who was on assignment. I was on earlier this morning with Andrew McGinnis on his channel at McGinnis Picks on his YouTube channel there, talking some NHL. Around 2 o'clock, myself and Riley Magnuson will be back for the closing bell. We'll get you caught up in last night's madness, get you caught up on the weekend schedule, talk a little UFC, a little PGA, and as we get ready for the weekend. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, want to wish everyone a blessed day, and we will see you soon.